the Pacific Northwest, you can't help but think about salmon and what they mean to the people in the Northwest, especially the tribal nations of the Northwest. There's a long history of cultural significance, even with commercial and recreational fishing in Washington. It's a quality of life that those that live here understand it and feel it. If you're in the Northwest, you can't miss salmon. They're they're part of us.
They are one of those iconic species. They connect things from all the way to the ocean, through the streams, up to the headwaters of those streams, and land use activities impact the ability of salmon to survive and thrive. And the iconic component is really critical.
Its prevalence exists in the storybooks our children read. It exists in the artwork that's in our libraries, in our museums. We pass rules and regulations that support and protect and perpetuate these salmon. We recreate with them. We go to see them and we eat them. So with that comes an understanding that if salmon populations are not doing well or they're too toxic to eat, then maybe we've crossed the line.
In order to recover salmon, you have got to mobilize a whole lot of people. Making the connections between what happens in different parts of the watershed and what needs to happen to keep our water clean and healthy and help thrive both for agriculture and for fish and for the use by people.
Statewide strategy is somewhat unique because it is what we refer to as the bottom up, meaning we've involved and engaged local watersheds that are the ones doing the work, because we recognize that our office or the state agencies by themselves are not going to recover salmon. It's the people on the landscape and those out in the regions that can make that connection with the landowners, the local governments, to make change on the landscape.
Keep looking for opportunities to bring more people into the conversation and get more people engaged in creating the solution. The more values, cultural, economic, social, natural resource, all of those things that become part of the conversation, the more we're able to fit together a solution that works for everyone.
I think it's also inextricably linked to our economy. That innate connection of how salmon plays into our economic health, if managed well, is like a sustainable gold.
So you can put it simply, it's harvestable and healthy runs of salmon. I mean, it's to get back to harvestable levels of fish that all user groups can enjoy and that we can enjoy on the landscape. That's our ultimate goal. But it's going to take a lot to get back to that. There's been a lot of impacts over the last 150 years on the landscape. And some we may not be able to get there, but there is hope. There are places in the state where we are seeing success from the efforts that we've spent over the last 15 years doing this. But it will be a long road. It's not going to be an easy fix or do one thing to fix this. It's a long-term community-based effort to make this happen.
And so being able to kind of put a face on large landscape issues and needs and conservation and climate adaptation, all those kind of buzzwords, and kind of make it real through the story of the salmon and what needs to be done to save the salmon is really going to propel our ability to meet the long-term goals of ensuring that Cascadia does survive and thrive as well.